Hey guys, Somnus Noir here, and let's play Marvel's Avengers Initiative. So I've noticed a lot of players playing Marvel's Avengers on the Facebook forums or Reddit forums tend to ask, how do you level up the power level? How do you get to such a place where playing the game becomes more fun? And honestly, with a low power level, going into some missions that require a higher power level, you tend to die a lot. The game becomes very just not fun to play at all. And I can understand that. Just if you don't understand how to level up, how to gain more power, how to hit harder, how to stay up longer, how to get your second win, this game can be very irritating, annoying, and just altogether something you don't even want to look at anymore. So getting your power level up is a very key part of this game, very pivotal in getting to end game content and getting to the part where you're happy with what you're doing, you're happy with your characters, with your players, with your Iron Man, Kamala, Black Widow, or Captain America. And that's why a lot of people tend to say Hulk isn't good, Hulk isn't strong, Hulk isn't Hulk. So I'm going to be playing as one of my lower level Avengers. I don't like Black Widow, so we're not gonna we're not gonna touch her. But I'll be playing as Kamala, Miss Marvel. She has a low level, a lower power level compared to my Thor, Hulk, Kate Bishop, everyone else besides Black Widow. I don't like playing as Black Widow, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, she's okay. It's just that compared to the rest of them, she's just there, you know? But I'm sure there are plenty of people that enjoy playing as Black Widow. But I'm gonna play as Miss Marvel just to demonstrate just how you can get your power level up. And I'll just be playing nothing fancy, none of these villain sectors or vaults or anything like that. Yes, those can help with getting your power level up quickly, but just to demonstrate or whatever. So whenever you go to gear, because gear is very heavily leaned on in this game, you need to focus on your gear. If not, you're going to end up just very low power level. So this one is a power level of 70. As you can see, it has proficiency in might, and depending on how you want to play your character, you should focus on those. I would recommend not focusing on those and more focus on that number on the left side hand side of that small screen that pops up where it says 71 power. When you're power leveling them up from a low level, focus on that number rather than your proficiency in might. But once you get later in the game, once you get to hold on one second, let me switch to Thor. Once you get later in the game and you have that it's at a soft cap of 130, and I'll show you in 1 minute what I mean. So as you can see, all of his gear is at 140, major artifact is at 10, and the minor artifacts are at 140. But all of this gear right here, all of these are at a soft cap of 130. Once you get there, that's when you want to start focusing on that resolve and might, the proficiency, valor, all that stuff on the right hand side of the small screen that pops up. You see it has resolve and might 49. You can see at the top how it affects the ratings of all that. My melee rating goes up by 3%, the defense will go up by 14%, whereas the ranged and heroic ratings fall by 3% and 14% respectively. You don't want to focus on those early on when leveling up, like I had mentioned earlier. But once you get later in the game, you want to focus on those to determine how you play those characters, whether you want them to be a a heavy hitter up close, or want them very strong in their ranged attacks or whatnot. But right now you want to get that 73 power, you want to get that 50 power, or however low your power is, you want to get that up until you get up to 130, and then you focus on those. Or you don't have to do that. You don't have to stick to the rules. You don't have to follow what everyone else is doing. You can focus on that and have more fun, and focus on your proficiency and might, focus on the intensity and precision. Focus on those now so that you have more fun, so that when you play Kamala, she can be a heavy hitter up close. She can have more melee or range or heroic or defense. And right here in this small screen that pops up when you hover over the melee rating or your range rating, heroic or defense, it shows you how it bumps up that rating. Might, valor, and proficiency all go into your melee. All those ratings go into there, and that combines everything you have in these sections right here. To the right it says proficiency in might 24 and 24, and might is right under melee, which is at 34 altogether for Kamala. So you see might increases your melee damage, your ultimate heroic charge rate, and then valor does a heroic effectiveness and critical damage. Proficiency does critical chance and perk chance. And that's her melee, that's her close-up combat. So you want to focus a lot on the might if you want your melee damage to be increased. Or you can focus on valor and proficiency, which helps with your critical chance and your critical damage. All those factor into melee. And then the same is for range, except it's precision instead of might, where that increases your range damage and assault heroic charge rate, which is pretty much the same as might under melee, except this is for your ranged attacks. And then defense, it has the resilience and resolve. Resilience is your armor, and then resolve is your willpower, how the willpower as in like the max amount of health you can get, or the recovery effectiveness, where that will, like, whenever you get those regen tokens, that will recover those. And your heroic rating is your resilience, again with the armor, support, heroic charge rate, and then valor and intensity. And if you remember, valor is under your ranged as well as your melee, which is your heroic effectiveness and the critical damage. And intensity is the status damage, the stun, how much that you give out of that, as well as your resistance to the status that you receive. So those are all important to focus on, especially when you hit that soft cap in your gear of 130, or altogether just to have a fun experience playing as these characters, playing the Marvel's Avengers game. Otherwise, you're sort of going around not sure why Hulk isn't strong, not sure why Kamala isn't more resilient, and you don't even want to play the game anymore. But altogether, you need to get that power level up before seeing any of those statuses, those ratings change. And a lot of players recommend don't do anything when you're at a low level. Don't change these. Don't unlock the perk. As you can see at the bottom of this small screen that pops up, you hold square on the PlayStation 4 to unlock the next perk, which is in the middle of that small screen where it says gear perks. Right now all it has unlocked is the polymorphic superiority, which increases the damage for Morningstar and Palm Strike by 25%. And then locked, it has the heavy combo finisher attacks deal shock damage, which is a status damage, as we had mentioned under their heroic rating. Those are important to look at as well when you're equipping new gear. And then the other thing that's locked is the 116.3% increased critical attack damage when polymorph attacks. So I'm gonna hold square to unlock the next perk, which is the shock damage. So whenever she does a heavy combo finisher, she deals out shock damage, and I believe shock damage also adds stun to it, increased stun. And you can hold square again, and I don't know what it is on the Xbox if you play Xbox, sorry for that. But it says it at the bottom of that small screen that pops up. And now I have every perk unlocked, and you can continue to boost this to the max, and it'll boost it up to a power of, I believe it'll be 81. And you can boost it all the way up, so that also increases your power level up here. You see it's 73 now. I'm going to continue increasing this depending on if I have enough resources. Hold on. I have a very janky controller, so alright, so that's as far as I can go because I am missing some of the resources. As you can see at the bottom of that small screen, it tells you which resources are required for it, and it's those little purple things, the nanites, which I always have a hard time collecting, and the nanotubes, which I obviously have an abundance of. So you want to keep track of the resources, which is why a lot of people recommend do not upgrade your gear, do not boost your gear too far, just unlock the perks so that you can put out the status damage and whatnot, but don't boost the gear. That's why a lot of players recommend that whenever people are asking these questions of how do I boost my power level. But that's completely up to you, because what I've noticed is when you increase your power level, as you can see up at the top left, my power level went from 73 to 74. So you can boost your power level, and the good thing about boosting your power level to a higher level than what you were previously at is that whenever you go into a mission, you tend to collect gear that's at your power level or close to your power level. It usually is slightly under the power level, and you can change the difficulty to have, as you can see to the right, it increases combat difficulty by further increasing enemy power levels. By increasing the enemy power levels, the gear, the resources that they drop is a bit more. You get gear that is slightly higher at that 84 power that it's saying, which is plus 10 of what I'm at. It has a power level 10 powers, 10 levels above where I'm at, which will give me gear that's higher than where I'm at, which helps me to get to a higher power level. But it will be also very hard. It will be a very difficult playthrough of this level, which is why I like to go for something that's plus 5. It's a little difficult, it's a little challenging, yes, but I get better gear when I play at a challenge 3, however you're supposed to word that. And as you can see, that increases everything on the map to plus 10 for this elite vault, plus 5 for almost everything else. This elite villain sector is now at plus 56. If I wanted to play that, it'll pop up the currently equipped hero has a power level that is too low for this activity. So you won't be able to play something that is that high of a level. And I believe I wouldn't be able to play this. No, I wouldn't be able to. But I think anything that's plus 10 or below, I can play that. It'll be very, very difficult, but what you will receive will be a lot better if you can even get there. So if you're a really good player, you know that you would play through this mission at plus 10 difficulty, then go for it. Go for the plus 10, get that better gear and gear up, and then you continue that cycle until you get to a soft cap of 130. Or if you're not that good of a player, you can go for challenge 1, which is minus 5, which makes it a lot easier to defeat the enemies, easier to collect what's there, and it'll give you lower power level gear. But what you see, the rewards in this, the small screen that pops up for the mission, for this assault drop zone, you will get Uru, which is good for your minor artifacts, and an ISOH shard, which is your minor artifacts. Those are also important to attach as well, because they also bump your ratings up here. So if you're lacking in your minor artifacts, you need higher level minor artifacts. Look for these missions that gives you they give you ISO 8 shards, or the I forget what it's called. Do I have one equipped that I can show? Or the Norn stones. Those are your minor artifacts, and those help boost, and they give you different gear perks as well. Whereas this one increases the charge rate of heroic ultimate ability by 7.8%, so you can unlock that ultimate heroic quickly. Or it'll this one increases comic books and strong boxes, 5% increased chance to receive those, and it's a bunch of different ones, and those go for your gear and your minor artifacts and your major artifacts, which you need polycoron for to boost those power levels for those. And once you get everything at the hard cap of 140 for the gear, 140 for the minor artifacts, and I believe it's 10 for the major artifacts. Yeah, 10 for the major artifacts. And once you get there, you'll reach that max end game power level of 150 and just become a god tier god, or Avenger. Yeah, Avenger. And then I like to focus on the different gears that are I believe they're called elite gear. Yeah, and then there's other gears. There's much better gear. These orange gears. I haven't collected any for Thor yet, but I have 1 or 2 for Kate Bishop. Those are really, really good. I forget what it's not. Is it legendary? No, exotic. It's an exotic gear piece, and you can find those in the Mega Hive. I believe the I'm at a loss for words here. Yeah, it's an exotic, but don't worry about looking for exotics until you get your power level, at least a soft cap of 130. All of your gear at 130, and that'll put this up here, your power, at 130, and so on and so forth. So that's my advice to increasing your power level, and that's my advice that I will take for increasing Miss Marvels and the low power that they are at. So yeah, take that, do it how you want. Don't just go by what everyone else is saying, by the books. Don't boost your gear, don't do this, that, and the other. Play it how you want, focus on the things that you want to focus on, and make this game fun, because playing games in general, you want it to be fun. It's not just some goal oriented, you gotta be the very best, collect them all, blah 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 blah. Have fun playing this game, have fun with these characters, upgrading, boosting them, and just playing and being an Avenger altogether. How do you guys feel about the gears? How do you feel that you will approach those? Do you like to boost them all the way? Do you like to max them out where you're at and focus on the different kind of gear perks on them? Or do you like to just leave it at the small that they're at and search for better gear later on? Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you enjoy this game. If you do enjoy this game, or if you don't enjoy this game, how would you improve this game? How would you make it better? What do you think the developers need to add or take away from this game to make it a better experience for you? Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe this video if you would, and have a wonderful and great day. See ya.